I have the great honor and pleasure to welcome our next speaker. As already told, it's Matimbwi. And we've already heard about the Sokoine University of Agriculture and its meaning for Tanzania. And luckily, we have now an absolventee from exactly this university and also from the University of Flensburg in agricultural engineering and renewable energy with a doctorate degree in solar photovoltaic engineering. So you can see that our next speaker is quite an expert in his field. He is not working with the church, but for a civil society organization or for the NGO TAREA, which is the Tanzania Renewable Energy Association. He works as an engineer and as the executive secretary for this NGO. Its mission can best be described by himself possibly, but in a short sentence, to develop and promote rational use of solar energy by coordinating information and skills with the goal of socio-economic development, so combining the economic and the socio aspects. His focus is on renewable energy and energy efficiency in a sector in which he realized many projects in over 20 years of professional experience, especially in rural areas and for poor communities, but also in engagements with the governments and in many advocacy and training sessions. Since 2018, he also is the chairperson of the East African Renewable Energy Federation. And if the internet is informing me correctly, he won a Swedish award as Change Agent of the Year last year. So this tells us how lucky we are to have him here, and I'm very interested to hear your ideas of change now, Mr. Matimbwi. The floor is yours. Karibu sana and asante.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ellen, for introduction. So I don't go back to introduce myself. It is already well done. Actually, as introduced, I've studied at the Sokoine University of Agriculture, where I did my bachelor. And then the other 2 degrees I earned at Flensburg University in Germany. So for those people coming from Hamburg, actually, they know exactly where I'm talking about. Now going direct to my presentation, I'll talk about how the use of renewable energy in Tanzania is being used in climate change resilience. How do you use these technologies here in Tanzania for adaptation and mitigation? So my presentation is also going to answer some questions that were already presented to Engineer Kitundu. I had been following those questions, and most of them they will be answered in this presentation. For example, when people ask how, if Tanzania is developing photovoltaics and how. So I have those answers in my presentation. And nowadays we have experiencing long dry seasons. And when it comes rains, it's really destructive rains. They are not normal. We have experienced, for example, even this year, we have heavy rains in short time that destroyed a lot of infrastructures. And the good experience we have, one can see on Lake Victoria and Lake Tanganyika. Lake Victoria and Lake Tanganyika, the water level now, they are very high. They've gone high for more than 50 centimeters, some up to 1 meter. And the water really is not receding. That means the level is not coming down. Some businesses and villages have to be evacuated around these 2 lakes. You can go to Kenya, Kisumu, you'll find a lot of villages already evacuated, even in Tanzania side, and even if you go to Uganda, Entebbe, also they are very much affected. Water is not going down. So we can see this. Here in Tanzania, we have two impacts that are not known to most of the people. We have two islands in Tanzania that have disappeared. These are Maziwe Island in Pangani. This is northeast, and also we have another island called Fungulanyani. This is in Rufiji Delta. The water have submerged the islands and normal life on these islands. It has been reported by our Center of Carbon Monitoring that our temperatures now have increased by 0.9 Celsius. This is above the average. And if it goes like this, by 2050, we will have the increase of 3 Celsius degrees. The glaciers on Mountain Kilimanjaro, 80% is gone. So this is a report from the Vice President office. So yeah, carbon dioxide emission is tense in Tanzania. So, and we have a lot to tell that people experience the climate change in our country. For example, cattle keepers are losing a lot of cattle during dry season because of the lack of green pastures. So these are signs that we can feel it. Now, I want to tell you what are renewable energy potentials in Tanzania, so people can see what are the opportunities. Our solar installations that is economical ranges from 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. We have the potential of hydro, 4.7 gigawatt, and we have wind speed that Engineer Kitundu was talking about. It ranges from 3 to 10 meters per second. And geothermal potential, we have 650 megawatt. And of course, we have biomass potential that we can use to generate energy of 12 megatons of oil equivalent. And of course, Dr. Kitundu was talking that the church is already involved in generating renewable. Now, in this picture is a very good example. This is a picture of a hydro station from Bulongwa Lutheran Hospital in the Southern Highland that generates 115 kilowatt. The energy that is quite enough to run the Bulongwa Lutheran Hospital, and they are giving little electricity to neighboring households. So this is a good example to fortify the statements of Engineer Kitundu. So what is a current status of energy here? Utility electrifications is 39.9% by households, but then you will see now this is to answer your question, is solar photovoltaic being developed in Tanzania? You can see that solar photovoltaic has contributed to electrification by 30.3% by household. So you can see how it competes with utility. Now, when we come to cooking energy by percent of households, you can see electricity is 2.5, liquefied petroleum gas 9.2%, natural gas is 0.1%. We have there are people who are still cooking using kerosene. We have biogas, 0.2%. Yeah, more charcoal. We have people who are cooking using crop residues, 0.1%. And we have other technologies. Combined together, they are 1%. So, but it's still very few households that are cooking using biomass energy. Only 5%
Noch sehr wenig. Und insgesamt sind es nur 5% der Haushalte, die moderne und saubere
biomass as renewable. But in order to make this energy qualify to be sustainable, we need really to promote fuels and appliances that are used for cooking that emits very little carbon dioxide and also generate high heat energy. So this is what we have to still to do. Now, for solar photovoltaic in our country, how they are developed, we have off-grid systems, and we have already one on-grid plant of 5 megawatt that has been developed by one company called NextGen in Kigoma. That has already gone to the grid, but it's really a technology that is used for areas that are unreachable. So we have here in Tanzania mini grids. We have a lot of solar mini grids. In the picture, as you see on the right top, that is a mini grid plant in Korogwe, for those who have already visited Tanzania. And it electrifies 2,000 households in one of the off-grid village. Also, we use solar here in Tanzania for control lights. Most of the traffic lights in Tanzania that are now developed, they are being powered by solar photovoltaics. For example, all traffic lights in Arusha, I know that they are being powered by solar. This is to ensure that there is no traffic interruptions, because we know that our utility here is not reliable. And also we have marine control. If you manage to travel by ferry from Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar, you will see that we have a lot of marine control lights to guide the ships where to pass. And these are powered by solar technology. We are using solar also for productive use, like cold chain. On Lake Victoria, some companies are promoting people to produce ice blocks from using solar energy, and they are selling these ice blocks to fishermen who use them to preserve fish before they can ship them to mainland in Mwanza. We are promoting solar water pumping for agriculture, and also there are machines that are being used powered by solar for small industries like welding machines and also wood machining. From solar, we also use solar heat that is very much used for hospitality industry here in Tanzania for water heating. And also there are initiatives to promote for cooking, but solar production is very much practiced in southern Tanzania, especially in the Lindi and the Mtwara regions. They're using solar to produce salt. And food, and we have also food and fruits drying. there are initiatives going on to use solar heat for this purpose. And also in the future, people are trying to see how we can generate electricity using solar heat here in Tanzania. Yeah, mini hydro, we use them for electricity generation. Just to caution you, in Tanzania, we don't count the big dams beyond 10 megawatt to be renewable because of the social environmental impacts they have. Once you build a big dam, you start having malaria, bilharzia, people will start getting sick. And even it will destroy the social structure because the construction will result a lot of people to be moved away. So there's a social destruction. We have biomass. Biomass we use for electricity generation. All sugar factories in Tanzania, they are generating electricity using waste from sugarcane. We call it bagasse. And there are some factories that are already feeding this electricity to utility, TANESCO. For example, one factory from Tanganyika Plantations Company in Moshi is doing this. We are using also biomass for industrial heating, for heating water to generate steam, and also for boiling liquids. Also, yeah, we are using cooking, of course. We have the wind here, as it has already been mentioned, but at the moment we are using wind for small power generation. Most of the existing wind turbines, they are at a scale of 5 kilowatt, but we'll see later what is being planned. And also we are using wind for water pumping. This is done very much in the central regions of Singida and Dodoma, where they have a good wind regime. We have geothermal. Our geothermal, our government is already planning to generate electricity, and there is already research going on to use direct heat energy for example, drying crops and also for poultry. Yeah, so what is being planned in our country? Our Madam President, Samia Suluhu, has already announced the target of developing 1.1 gigawatt of renewable energy. And this will come very specific from solar, wind, and the geothermal. And it has to be done by 2025. There are a lot of tenders that are already announced by TANESCO. For example, TANESCO has already announced the tender for 250 megawatt solar in total. And also 200 megawatt tender of wind is already announced, and TANESCO is processing tenders in order to reach this target. And also we have the target of reducing greenhouse emissions at a lower level to reach 30. If we are lucky, upper level to reach a reduction of 35%. So these are targets made by our government by 2030. The government also has a strategy to increase the use of renewable energy for productive uses. For example, in the southern, where we have a lot of mini hydros, to increase the productive uses in forest industry and also preserving milk and other agricultural products. And also for adoption of clean cooking technologies. As I've said, we have to use our forestry in a sustainable manner. So the government has now developed what we call a clean cooking action plan, and it will be soon approved for use. The government has also supporting the private sector to develop mini grids for the reserved areas, deltas, and the islands. Reserved areas and deltas is not allowed here in Tanzania to install a national grid, but also on islands it's very expensive to send the marine cables there. And also the government has a plan to contain the hazardous waste, the waste that is generated from energy and other sectors, all this to combat climate change. But also there's a target to increase the adoption of energy efficient technologies to increase by 60%. This the target has to be reached by 2026. When you're adapting energy efficient technologies, also you are contributing to climate change as you are reducing the intensity of energy consumption. Yeah, so these are some environmental statements that have been made by Vice President's office. They are aiming at strengthening institutional and human resource capacity, promoting public awareness on climate change, promote collaboration with the private sector, as the private sector is a very important partner. Also to promote regional and international cooperations. The organizations in the north can cooperate and organizations in the south, promoting development and transfer of green technologies to our country. Thank you very much, and now you are welcome for questions and the answers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Matimbwi, for this detailed and helpful presentation. You are welcome to raise your digital hand or write your questions concerning the presentation in the chat. There already has been one first question during your presentation that was quite inspiring, actually, about the rising water level in the Lake Victoria and the role of the water hyacinth blocking the exit of the lake. Can you detail maybe a little about this problem?
Pardon, please?
In the Lake Victoria, if the rising water level is also due to the problem of some flowers, some water hyacinth blocking the exit of the lake.
Yes, actually, it's not blocking. For example, for Lake Victoria, we have experienced that the ice on mountains in Uganda, is melting at a very high rate, you see. So all this water goes inside Lake Victoria. So this is causing there's nothing to do with construction of the dam in Ethiopia, because otherwise we could not experience the same problem on Indian Ocean, because I've mentioned to you, 2 islands are gone here in Tanzania, and these islands are in Indian Ocean. What do we have to say about blocking water in Indian Ocean? What do we have to say about blocking water in Lake Tanganyika? So,
thank you very much for this for this input. I think we all understand your arguments. There has been the next question about the main challenges to increase the share of renewable energies in Tanzania. So which are the main challenges in your opinion and your experience?
Yeah, another challenge is more technical. Our national grid has a limitation of taking in renewable energy in order to make sure that the supply is stable. I mean, to avoid the effect of emittance from wind and solar technologies. Currently, our national grid has a capacity of taking in 15% renewable energy of the capacity of other sources, because now the main sources of electricity is coming from hydro dams and natural gas. Most of diesel generators here in Tanzania, they have been switched off. We have only one place where they're still using diesel generators. This is Kigoma. But the other places, for example, in Mbinga, they were using diesel generator, but there is now a 4 megawatt mini hydro from private investor that is now feeding the isolated grid in Mbinga, and they've switched, TANESCO has switched off the diesel generator. So we have only one town, and the government is working out also to switch off the diesel generator in Kigoma. Now they've already taken this 5 megawatt solar, but then for the night, there is an ongoing hydro dam being constructed in partnership of 3 countries. And when this dam is finished, and then the diesel generator in Goma will be switched off.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is running despite this interesting topic. Maybe one last question about Mbeya region. Can you shortly summarize which projects about renewable energy exist in this region or are planned in this region? Because some of us have partners in different regions in Tanzania and are interested especially in Mbeya region.
Yes, actually in Mbeya region, we have 2 big mini grid solar projects that provide power to villages in off-grid. And also we have 1 mini hydro station that has been constructed by Moravian Church. So, and we have a good numbers of independent, what we call captive power solar systems. Even within Mbeya town, there's 1 Catholic hospital that has installed very big solar system. It's about 800 kilowatt peak. This is big for isolated system here in Tanzania, because for small project here is considered to be 1 megawatt. So this is an example. There are other only that I don't have enough time to list them. We have in our profile within Tanzania Renewable Energy Association. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to close the discussion right now, even though there are still interesting remarks and questions, but we also would like to profit of the expertise of you and the other people here to have a panel discussion. So I invite Helena Funk for the moderation and all the other candidates to discuss one another right now on the digital podium. Thank you very much for the presentation, Mr. Matimbwi.